Welcome to the weekend review of the market. Here I have the chart of the Nifty with various levels marked here and also the volume here. The previous week, the Nifty closed on a positive note, and the last week also started off on a positive note. We had a gap up opening and the close was near the high. But that positivity could not be sustained as the week proceeded. As you can see, we had more of a sideways move. Now, if you look at the volumes, also quite low, except on Tuesday. On Tuesday, we had a surprisingly high volume and a doji, indicating that there was a struggle between demand and supply, with neither dominating. And we had a doji here. But on Wednesday, the volumes dropped, and we had a down bar closing in the middle or lower middle, followed by an up bar on Thursday. If you look at all these bars had very narrow spread or a less than average spread and low volumes. But on Friday we had a gap up opening, but that could not be sustained. In supply overcame the demand and pushed the prices down, and it closed near the low. So we had an overall sideways move. So the move was in this range between 16,794 and 16,438. So in the coming week also we can expect the Nifty to move a little in this range before breaking out on either direction. Now let us look at what are the probability of moving in the up direction or the down direction. So for that, let me go to the overall market. Here I have the overall market volume, just not the Nifty, and we have the overall market buy volumes and the sell volumes. As you can see, on Monday we had a buy volume which is like almost 4.5 times the sell volume, and the advances were almost 3.5 times the declines. And the following 3 days also we had the buy volumes dominating the sell volumes, and the advances were more than the sell declines. So the ratio was not too much, but still the advances were more. But on Friday, we could see the sell volumes dominated and the declines were 2.3 times the advances. If you look at the whole week together, we had the buy volume dominating more than the sell volumes. So we can see that there was more strength than weakness in the weekly movement. So we expect that to continue, and finally the movement should be on the upper side rather than on the downside. As you can see, the Nifty did start making higher lows and now finally made it as a higher high. But that does not mean that the bullishness has come back or the uptrend has resumed till we move above the 18,114 levels. We are not sure that a bullish uptrend will resume. Till then, the overall movement will be sideways. But before we take the 18,114, we have two more obstacles here, 17,414 and 17,640. So in the coming week, we do expect some more sideways move before a breakout on the upper side. So these are the two levels to watch out here: 16,794 and 16,438. Let us quickly review how the sectors performed the last week. As you can see, the IT sector, which was bad the previous week, has now gone into green and it performed well as the week proceeded. And it did well on Friday as well. Energy sector was doing bad and it slightly started recovering the previous week, but again went back into red, as you can see here. One of the sectors which was doing very well was auto, and that started going into red slowly, and it became a weak sector. Pharma was started deteriorating the last week itself, and it continued, and it is deeply into red the last week. So another sector which quickly recovered was metal. The last 2 days it showed better performance. So let us hope it will continue the same the next week. Two sectors, Nifty, fin services, financial services, and banking, which were doing well from the last end of last week, and then that too started going into red or turned weak as the week proceeded. Similarly, MNCs again went into red. Services sector improved last week. But on Friday, it started slightly deteriorating, but it performed well last week. Consumption again did badly. It had started going bad the previous week, but the last week it went deeper into red. Media is one sector which slightly went off and then again came back last week. Infra has been doing badly for quite some time. And reality also, just like the media, slightly went weak towards the end of last week, but recovered nicely last week. And FMCG is one sector which was doing well for quite some time. We saw that going into red last week, and that deep red. So the next week we can expect IT, metals, media, and realty to continue to do well. And it may happen that banking and the Nifty services go into more weakness. MNCs and consumption, pharma will continue to be weak. All is based on the data, how they performed last week. Of course, as you know, in the market things can change, but our expectation based on this last week's performance, the next week, IT, metal, realty, media, and services could do well, while pharma, auto, banking, financial services, FMCG, and consumption and MNCs can continue to do badly or continue to be weak in the coming week.